And so as you're beginning to introduce the reset method, you're only starting with 12-hour fast. That, again, to begin with, is new for a lot of people. Like, that's intermittent fasting. I don't have to do 16 hours because all these articles online tell me that's what I need to do. So that's key. If you're not in your 20s or you're not like a healthy man, starting with anything more than your body is ready is going to be destructive and honestly make you want to quit. It's going to be like every other diet you tried and you're going to say it's not for me. And so we need to train your metabolism, your brain, your body, your schedule. We need to train you for fasting.
I'm loving this because there's just so many lessons here. I hope our dear listeners are getting a look at this masterclass on how to overcome your own inner narrative, your own dialogue, the stuff inside that's challenging you. And Marissa's found a way by doing something that was incredibly difficult for her, the food blocking to start, but she made great connections. She learned to live at her pace. All of that struggle, kind of quote Ryan Holiday, the obstacle is the way. She went through the middle of it, and that led her to her passion today, where she is impacting on a very high level. So can we go to your book? I'd love to.
Yes.
I see it over your shoulder.
Yes.
I want to ask you about it.
Yes.
It's awesome. So how did the book come to fruition? I can only imagine it must have been a passion and difficult.
So, it was just one of the ways that I got through all those hard times with ADHD, because I didn't want to be only depending on medication. I didn't want to grow a tolerance to stimulant medication.
Yes.
I realized there's times that it's appropriate to use and times that I'd be better off not using it. And so I was, again, trying to use nutrition and healthy habits to nurture my brain. And so I discovered intermittent fasting because of the bulletproof and paleo communities. And that was, before I became a health coach. So I was using intermittent fasting for my brain. I realized if all of this energy and like resources and blood flow is needed to digest food, that's a very energy intensive process, digesting a meal. It's pulling away blood flow, energy, and resources from my prefrontal cortex, where I need all of this energy supplied to get through the workday or to post things on my blog or to self-manage. And so I was like, fasting kind of makes sense. Like, I should try that for my brain. And it was immediately rewarding and obvious. Fast forward to when I became a health coach and I was doing public speaking. One of the topics I pitched for a Chicago festival was a step-by-step introduction to intermittent fasting. And this was in 2017 or 2018 when nobody was really talking about it. So I didn't think people were going to be interested. And I got all these people out of all my workshops that got the biggest response. People were like, are you going to record it? This, that. And I was like, holy cow, people want to hear about intermittent fasting. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I put that into a free resource and started teaching my step-by-step method. It eventually turned into what I call the reset method, which is the foundation for this entire book. And essentially, I noticed from the very beginning that a lot of people were too rigid with intermittent fasting. There were too many rules. They were trying to be too rigid, and they were jumping into it too hastily without understanding the signals their body was giving to them about when it's appropriate to push and when you need to scale back or when you need to be flexible to accommodate the other things going on in your life. And so the reset method came about because I was teaching people how to train their body for intermittent fasting so that it was effortless and rewarding every step of the way, instead of like, just go without eating and tough it out. Like, that's definitely not the way. So reset is an acronym, RESET. Each letter stands for a phase of the method. And anybody can grab this on my website. I think Matt's going to have it in the show notes, but it's marissamoon.com/IF freedom. IF stands for intermittent fasting. And at the top of that page, you can download the reset manual. It's a 26-page guide that explains this acronym. So the R in reset is reduce your carbs. E is eat nourishing foods. S is start with 12 hours. The next E is extend your fast, and the T is thoughtfully adapt. And so as you're beginning to introduce the reset method, you're only starting with 12-hour fast. That, again, to begin with, is new for a lot of people. Like, that's intermittent fasting. I don't have to do 16 hours because all these articles online tell me that's what I need to do. So that's key. If you're not in your 20s or you're not like a healthy man, starting with anything more than your body is ready is going to be destructive and honestly make you want to quit. It's going to be like every other diet you tried and you're going to say it's not for me. So we need to train your metabolism, your brain, your body, your schedule. We need to train you for fasting. So we're literally trying to teach your DNA your genes to stop depending on glucose for energy and shift back to our preset that we were born with, fat burning. We have this ability that we all have in our DNA to burn body fat for energy. That's what it's there for. But because we've become so carb dependent as a nation of eaters, meaning we have to eat every 2 to 3 hours like they've told us we should. We have grains as the base of our food pyramid, and our meals are usually based on a bowl of rice, a bowl of pasta, or tortillas and bread. And so that has led our metabolisms to be entirely dependent on carbohydrate energy, which means we have to feed it more frequently and means our hunger is out of control. And so one of the greatest things that you will benefit from starting with 12 hours, eating nourishing foods and gradually reducing your carbs, not going keto, people, that we don't start with keto. We gradually train our metabolism for carbohydrate reduction. So all this time, first of all, you're learning, how do I build my plate without so many carbohydrates? How do I feel without so many carbohydrates? And how does it look when I fast 12 hours? What can I put in my coffee? There's a lot of things to learn as you're going through this. But meanwhile, you're gradually training your body to that carbs aren't going to be that plentiful. So what other fuel sources are there? And as you incrementally extend your fast, you are reducing your carbs at the same time. They make it easier for the other things. So fasting becomes easier because you're reducing your carbs, and reducing your carbs becomes easier because you're fasting. So all in all, these are kind of working together in harmony to make this rewarding every single leg of the race. And you're just transforming your metabolism back to how we were designed to have this dependable energy source that allows us to go 20, 36, 72 hours without food and feel our best. Nobody expects it. But when you're fasting to the right degree for your circumstances, you feel so much sharper. You have so much more energy. And the most unbelievable thing is you're less hungry. Go figure.